Welcome back to the shop. I'm making a follow-up video this week for another woodworker on the YouTube channels that I just have a lot of respect for, learned a lot from. For those that may have watched the last video, I reached out to Carl Jacobson, who's a woodworker that, and especially a turner, that I just have learned a lot from. And we had kind of a fun back and forth with the Chiefs and Raiders. I ended up making him a Raiders bottle opener, and we do have a little bet for the upcoming season, so good luck, Carl. I think you're gonna need it, hopefully. This week, I'm making a gift for Marc Spagnuolo, AKA the Wood Whisperer, as most people know him on YouTube. Marc's been doing videos for, I believe, over 10 years and literally has hundreds of videos out there. I really consider it a reference library for woodworkers. I go back and look at videos kind of all the time to refresh on some techniques. He has a wide variety of topics, from beginning, helping people to pick out wood at a lumberyard, to pretty complex techniques, to how to tune up machines, how to shop and buy for tools. So just a lot of information. And what I really like about Marc's videos is he uses a lot of humor. They're just fun to watch as you're learning. So I wanted to reach out and say thank you to Marc. Marc did share with me that he's a New York Giants fan, and I just wanted to let him know that I not only wanted to say thank you, but make him a gift, hopefully for a shop wall. So I'm gonna get started on something New York Giants and see what we can come up with. I've laid out a template program here on my VCarve Pro software. This is going to be on a pretty sizable piece. What I'm thinking is doing a series of cuts with the CNC, using the dyed resins again, and kind of layering, going back, letting them dry, going back in, cutting a new layer in, and kind of going until we have all the colors. I'm probably going to keep it to red, white, and blue. But do this big pocket piece in white. So I'll carve that first on the CNC, fill it with white, and I'll show that on the video. Let that cure, go back in, carve this pocket out. Not sure what color, either red or blue. Also carve using a 90-degree V-bit. I'll carve all those letters. Probably do one red, one blue. We'll kind of see what it looks like, and maybe one or two cuts for that separator line. And my plan with this is to do a drop catch bottle opener. So hidden in the back will be two rare earth magnets, very, very strong, and an opener up here. Eventually cut around that resin and frame it. Don't know how I'll frame it yet or with what. But that's the plan. So I think the first step is I'm going to use MDF because there won't be any wood showing. It'll be all resin in different colors on the front, then with some kind of nice hardwood frame. So that'll all be invisible, and it's a good surface that works well on the CNC, easy to use. So I will start with cutting some of those pieces and getting the CNC set up. I'm using 3/4 MDF. I've got two sheets put together just with screws in the corner. I always like to be a little safe just in case I've got something that goes a little deeper than what I'd thought or had planned. And I set up these little corner templates because this will be the only piece I work on. And so I always know where the center is. I can just put that back in the same time or the same way every time. And so it's always in the middle because I'm going to go back and forth between different carvings, letting it dry, putting another bit in, doing all those kind of things. So I've got this set to go. We've got a nice clean 1/4 inch deep pocket. And as I said, that is pretty sizable. That's 16 inches by 12, 1/4 inch deep. So I've mixed some resin, put some white dye, pigment dye. I'll hit it with a little heat just to get rid of bubbles. The resin is dried overnight. It's hard, ready to go. So we're now going to do the letters, Giants in New York. I'll go ahead and start that. That turned out really great. That 90-degree bit does such a fantastic job cutting sharp corners. So I've got blue and red mixed up. I think I'm just going to do blue up here, red, and I think I'm going to do like a silver in that line in the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and pour those two first. And this does not have to be perfect because I'll sand when everything gets dried. The resin is all set. That silver, I think, looks pretty nice. And I went ahead and trimmed that MDF, took it off from that kind of baseboard so you can see kind of how thick that is. I'm going to run just a couple passes through a drum sander just to kind of get it down to a rough level, and then I'll hand sand the rest. And I will also I may do either 2 or 3 of those magnets in the back, and I'll just use a Forstner bit and go down probably right to the edge of that, where that resin is. So they'll come up from the back, and then I also use a cleat system to hang these on the wall. The piece is sanded up through, I just went to 800 and did that wet. But I think it's starting to look really nice. I like how that silver looks kind of like an industrial look. Might make me rethink what kind of frame I put on it. I recently picked up some rough sawn cherry from a local sawmill. It's really gorgeous wood. I've milled down a couple pieces. I'm going to make a deep box frame for the wall opener that can house the magnets are about 1 inch thick, which is thicker than the piece itself, and then the cleat on the back. So the box frame will house that backing. So I'll get started on that. I did want to show for any of you that smoke meat. I also keep all my cherry, apple, any of that kind of stuff, as well as some of the other hardwoods. These work well with pork products if you like to smoke meat. So little offcuts, saw them up on the bandsaw, and they're great to throw on the fire. I've got the frame completed, and this part is the cleat system that'll go against the wall. There's the corresponding cleat that Marc will put on the wall, hopefully. So I'm just going to drop the piece in, and I do have 4 screws in the corners that I'll bring back up through the piece. I don't think it needs it, but so that's a nice tight fit. I'll put those screws in, and the last step then will be to put 1 more layer of the resin over the top, just a clear, and hang the opener and install the magnets in the back.